You spin me round, baby, right round. Just kidding. Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm Mac. This is Let's Play Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. I think that's it. Anyway, I'm probably going to stick these episodes together simply because it's not really fair to drop everything because we're having a bit of trouble. And that trouble we actually had is apparently the apparently it's got to do with the controller that I have plugged in. A gamepad does really weird things if you haven't tampered with the configuration a bit. We don't want to rest. There aren't any achievements at stake, but I have trust issues. Okay, so that was what was protecting me before. No, controls! Am I not allowed to open these chests? I don't want to rest! Stop asking me to rest! It's weird because there's supposed to be stuff around here for me to get, but for some reason I can't. I need to really focus on playing with the keyboard because it's gonna mess me up completely, but... I suppose I'll get back to this later. But anyway, Trails of Heroes. Nope. Trails of... This name I'm gonna get wrong a lot of times, methinks. And so we're on a quick walkabout. Roland, 49 cell. Gurun Gate, 259 cell. Which was it that we were going to? Yeah, it's a lot easier if it's the same orientation as the map, I'd say. Sadly, we are not Pokemon heroes, we can't jump like that. Well, what I can do is run by holding down Alt, which apparently gets... Oh. Estelle, Roland City is in the opposite direction. You're not sleepwalking again, are you? How about you just be quiet and keep your comments to yourself? Yeah, thank you for putting me on the right direction again, plot. And now we have this small trotting sound effect. What fun. I missed the first line because I was looking at this guide. Not too early or too late either. We just barely graduated from Sunday school. I never dreamed we'd have to study so hard to become braces. Well, you're in luck. Today is our last day of training. Truth be told though, you're the one who signed up to be a bracer in the first place, so I don't know why you'd expect to get away with any less effort. Oh, yeah, I guess I did. Alright then, let's get to it and make it through this last hazing from Shira. You look ready to me. Let's go meet with Shira at the Bracer Guild over there then. She's so relatively... The fact that she just can't keep a thought in her head is just so relatable to me. Good morning, Mr. Renan. Hello, Estelle and Joshua. You're up rather early today. Did you come to wear a new pair of shoes? Now that you mention it, are there any new ones in stock? You know, like the newest Stragers? Unbelievable. I've already forgotten why we came in here to begin with. We're not here to shop. We're supposed to be buying a copy of Liberal News for Dad, remember? Of course! You've always been a big collector of those shoes, haven't you, Estelle? I'm afraid news strikers aren't out yet. If you're after the latest issue of Liberal News, though, I should have them in around noon. Noon, huh? That's right in the middle of our training at the guild house. We'll stop by again after our training is over. Sure, I'll wait for you. Why must the camera always be on a 45-degree angle? That's just throwing me off. Okay, here we go. Racer Guild. There you two are. Good morning, Estelle. Good morning, Joshua. Good morning, Aina. Good morning. Is Shira here already? Yes, she's waiting for you upstairs. Once you finish today's training, you'll finally be recognized as members of the Racer Guild. Good luck to the both of you. Thanks. We'll do our best. Oh dear. The Star and the Hanged Man. The Hermit and the Magician. And last of all, inversion through the Wheel of Fortune. This is a difficult combination. How should I interpret this? Good morning, Shira. Well, if it isn't Estelle and Joshua. This is a rare occasion for the both of you to show up so early. Since this is my last day of training, I figured, why not? I'm ready to get this show on the road and become a bracer myself. I'll give you credit for your enthusiasm, but I'm going to work you hard today in every way I can think of to make sure that high-spirited attitude of yours holds up. I hope you're ready. I can feel that enthusiasm dropping already. Although that expression doesn't quite fit that phrase for me. I can feel the enthusiasm. Yeah, it doesn't quite work. Quiet, you! Every time I teach you something, you somehow manage to forget it. This training is my way of trying to keep some of that information in your head instead of letting it dribble out your ears like it usually does. Joshua, she's picking on me! Don't worry, Shira. Most still may hate studying and really never does her homework. Max Ashley is overly naive and has a tendency to stick her nose into everything. Sorry, should I go get a drink? It sounds like this list might go for a while. Her instincts are sharp, so I'm sure she'll pick up on how to use an orbment with some practice. Eventually. Probably. Remind me why you went to me for defense again? I guess there's not much I can do now except hope for the best. Everyone is... It's kind of hilarious how the entire world is revolving around and picking on her. Hold on a second, Joshua. Somehow I get the feeling that you weren't standing up for me. Well, that's odd. I'm positive I described all your best traits. I can't finish it. Oh dear. Estelle, this world does not like you. Whatever. By the way, Shira, what were you trying to predict with your tarot cards? Your face was really intent. Oh, this. I was just trying to get a vague reading what might happen in the near future. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have been in the right mindset to interpret the cards correctly. You couldn't read the cards? Oh, that's surprising to hear. Actually, the more profound the meaning of the cards, the more difficult they become to interpret. But that's not important now. I think it's time we start your final training. I'll give you a brief rundown of all the information we've covered in your previous training. This is the minimal level of knowledge that racers should have in order to function effectively. And Estelle, make sure you pay especially close attention to what I'm going to say. Yeah. What would you like to know about? Oh goody, tutorials. Orbments are mechanical devices which operate by using what is known as orbal energy. A variety of effects can be produced depending on their structure and the type of quartz or processed septium is installed. Although it's only been about 50 years since their invention, these devices play an integral role in all facets of life, from lights, heaters, and every other everyday products to weapons, magic, and even airships. Yeah, you can't make airships without magic, right? In connection, this technological reform is commonly known as the Orbital Revolution. Brace's investigative and combat specialists who work to protect civilians and maintain the stability of the respective regions. They aid the community in various ways, such as exterminating monsters, preventing crime, finding lost items, and escorting people and goods. The Bracer Guild, which has established several branches across the continent, manages the affairs of the Bracers in each region. So they're basically adventurers from any Final Fantasy game combined with the police. The Kingdom of Libel, in which we live, sits on the western half of the Zemurian continent and abounds with nature and deep-rooted traditions. Libel is proud to be one of the leading producers of septium on the continent and is known for its high level of technology used to develop augments. Augment technology has also been a key pillar of support for Libel in its protecting its independence as it has contended with neighbouring nations. 10 years ago, when Libel was invaded by the Erebonian Empire, it was the use of orbital-powered airships that saved the kingdom from defeat. Consequently, even now our relationship with the Empire is somewhat sensitive, but thanks to the Queen's political finesse, Libel enjoys peace. That's not going to last. Games just don't let peace last. There's got to be some sort of conflict. Let's see, since we've got a mountain of stuff to do today, I'll let you off the hook this time with a condensed review. I'm going to speed things up now and move on to the practical problem of your training. Shira? How is today's practical training any different from the training we've done before? Since it's practical, it also means you'll be experiencing things firsthand. Therefore, I'm going to make both of you run through everything as if this were a real bracer job. So what you're saying is, there won't be any studying at a desk involved? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. This time you'll have to go out and make a physical effort to accomplish your task. I'll make sure you work up a sweat, so I hope you're ready. Yes, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. What the doctor ordered. Words are hard. I didn't know what I was going to do if I had to sit another day with my tush parked at a desk. Guess I got all worried for nothing. Well, suddenly you're all bright and cheerful, Estelle. Let's just hope that smile on your face lasts until the end of today's training. Okay, let's get cracking on your first objective, shall we? Let's have at it. Your first objective will be to confirm the details of the job you will be performing. But before that, there's something we need to give the both of you. Aina, are they ready? Yes they are. Alright, you two, go get one for each of yourselves. These are very important, so make sure not to lose them. Receive Bracer Notebook. Bracer Notebooks serve as the official way to record the status of your current jobs. Also, anything you may hear or anything that you may find and wear, these kinds of trivial things can often become clues. No matter how insignificant something may seem, always write it down. Understood. Crap, this sounds like it's going to be a pain. Oh, please tell me it was my ears playing tricks on me, because I swear I only got one response. I'm sure there were two. Keeping an accurate account of events is an important duty for all bracers. So get with the program and stop trying to make this out to be more than it really is, Estelle. Okay, I got it. Make sure you do. Alright then, let's begin. Look over by the door. You can see that there's a bulletin board standing there. First, I want you to go and check the job description posted there. When the bulletin board is approached, an exclamation mark will appear. Pressing the OK button will display the job list. By selecting job names on the list, you can view their details. Alright, let's see. Training retrieval. Term long. Client Sherazade. Pay 500 mirror. And it's a direct request. This will involve searching the sewers beneath Roland and bringing back the contents of a chest. See her for details. I guess it's already open? Details of the job confirmed on the bulletin board and other important events will automatically be recorded in the Bracer notebook. The Bracer notebook can be easily found by clicking on the Books tab of the Items menu. It can also be accessed by configuring a Bracer book on the shortcut on the Configuration menu. Okay. Very good. Looks like the two of you were able to see what was posted without any trouble. Checking the bulletin board is one of the most basic functions a Bracer performs on their job. Checking regularly to see whether or not there are any urgent tasks which need immediate attention is also an important duty for Bracers. Man, all this talk about duty is starting to cramp my style. Sure, there are a lot of rules to follow, but there's an equal level of responsibility in the jobs themselves. I think being a Bracer calls for much more than someone with a half-hearted attitude. Are you just taking a snipe at Estelle again? I guess you're right. We just have to be more motivated. It may be a typo. Is that so? Had a change of heart, have you? You betcha. Well, before all that motivation sneaks off somewhere, let's get you to work on your next task. What will we doing this time? We'll be heading across the street to Mr. Melder's Orbital Factory and learning how to use its services. He has graciously taken time out of his work schedule to explain things, so make sure to be on your best behavior. Okay. Boy, you don't realize how much tutorials there are in a JRPG until you've started less playing it, because then everything becomes time becomes precious, as does disk drive space. Here's where you'll learn how to use an Orbital Factory's services. In Orbital Factory, you can modify your orbments and synthesize support quartz to use in Orbital arts. Arts have a wide range of effects and if mastered can be extremely helpful. The Bracer business is a pretty risky occupation, so the guild has a long-standing relationship with these Orbital Factories. Anyway, this is about as much as I can explain. I'll leave the technical details to the expert. So, Mr. Melders, if you wouldn't mind taking it over from here? No problem, leave everything to me. So, what is it you'd like to know about? Yeah, the best way to voice act is to give strong accents, because even if the accent isn't that good or noticeable, it at least gives you a different mentality for the voices, so that's what I'll be doing. Orbments are mechanical devices which exhibit an array of effects through the installation of various types of quartz. By definition, that means that lights, airship engines, and so on are also types of orbments. However, the ones we'll be discussing today are battle orbments, which enhance the user's physical abilities and make it possible to use magic. Since each orbment is adapted to match the owner's personal aptitude, the structures for these devices also differ for each owner. Simply put, the shape of the fixed elemental slots and lines which connect them vary. At any rate, that's the layman's explanation, i.e. In order to install quartz, you must have an open slot. By default, the central slot is open, but the other slots must be opened at a Orbital Factory like this. It'll take a fair amount of Sepith too. EP, which is needed for magic, will also see a max increase according to the number of open slots. I recommend opening them all as soon as possible. So what would you like to know about? Orbital arts are magic which can be discharged exclusively through the use of battle orbments. In other words, a number of peculiar effects can be produced by using the orbital energy stored within these mechanical devices. Since orbital arts can be a mouthful, they're almost universally referred to as arts. Probably ought to have been called that from the get-go, they should have. These are several types of arts, but in order to use them, their corresponding quartz must be first synthesized at an Orbital Factory. Orbments are also set up so that once a particular quartz is installed into a slot, the owner will be able to use those arts. They will. The type of arts one can use also changes depending on the elemental value and the combination of installed quartzes they are. Basically, if you want to use water arts, all you have to do is install a quartz within a water elemental value. In reality, orbits are much more complex than what I described, but I think that information will suffice for now. Yes, it will. Oh boy, it's a good thing I got cut off halfway, because this would be a... I'd already be panicking about the amount of disk drive I'd lost. Quartz are circuits made from sepith. Quartz have a vast number of effects and raise the owner's abilities while simultaneously making it possible for them to use arts. However, you will not be able to harness any of these effects until quartz has been installed to a slot. However, there are also fixed slots which can only be used by certain type of elemental quartz. This being the case, when you synthesize a new quartz, be sure to check your orbit and decide where you'll be installing it in ahead of time. Trying to read this out in an accent and make sense of it is hard. So what is it you'd like to know about? Sepith are fragments of septium which are dropped by monsters. They are divided into 7 types: earth, water, fire, wind, time, space, and mirage. I don't know why we went on such a nonsensical elemental scheme, it's just what we did. Sepith can be exchanged for mirror almost anywhere, but at Orbital Factory it can be used to synthesize quartz and open orbment slots to install the quartz. So what is it would you like to know about? Would like to know about... Looks like Mr. Melders It looks like Mr. Melders has answered all of your questions. No, I have to get this voice right. If there's nothing else, let's have you both try and use the services here. For that you're going to need some sepith. Several of each type of elemental sepith. With that amount, you should be able to synthesize a few quartz. Now I want you to begin by making an elemental quartz that will work with each of your particular orbments. In your case, Estelle, any elemental quartz is okay, but for you, Joshua, it has to be a time elemental quartz. Normally at a shop, you'd be able to exchange for mirror, but for this training you won't be able to use this service, because chances are Estelle would end up messing it up somehow. Press the OK button to get the options. Right. Well, good work so far. If you need to use the Orbital Factory, give Freddy a holler over there. Oh, okay. Hi there, looks like you two are doing well in your training. If you'd like to modify your orbments, please select the Modify Trade service. Modify Trade. Yep, they really don't trust her, do they? So, can we open... Okay, and we aren't allowed to open anything else. Time Elemental. Make one of these. And I guess one of these. And sure, we'll just make one of everything. That's not what we're supposed to do, but whatever. Yeah, we can't actually make anything else, so now we've just... Augment. And what do we want to put on Estelle? Stone hammer. I think this gives us a healing spell, which would be very nice to have. Yeah. So I'm not saying I'm typecasting the girl with the staff into healing, but I'd feel much better with a healing. Oh, so you've finished installing your quartz, have you? Since you've both recovery and attack arts set up, you don't need any more instruction from me about how to do this task. If you balance your arts out between each other like you've done here, it should make dealing with monsters much easier. Additionally, your brace notebooks contain information about which arts allow you to use which quartz allows you to use which arts. If you'd like to use more powerful arts, check out the arts and quartz charts in your brace notebooks and find something that works for you. Alright, our training here is almost finished. Last of all, I'm going to have you open a new slot in your orbments. The more slots you have available, the broader range of choices you'll have. Since CP, which is consumed by using arts, can have its max value increased by opening up slots, it would be a good idea to open them all early on. Now use this Sabbath and open a slot on each of your augments. Go ahead and decide which slots you're going to open. You received more of every type of elemental Sabbath. Well, alright then. And we aren't allowed to make quartz. We aren't allowed to make quartz either. Okay, let's see. Joshua can open up an all quartz. And an all quartz. And Estelle can open up an all quartz. And she just has all quartz for some reason, whereas Joshua has another time quartz slot. You know what? I'll get one for Estelle just because. I see you've managed to open one of your augment slots, Estelle. Since your central slot is not limited to a particular element, feel free to install any type of quartz you like. Wait, I thought we were supposed to open both! This concludes your training here at the Orbital Factory. Now it's your time to move on to what you've both been waiting for, the qualification test. Pardon? Didn't you just say test? You can't obviously tell me you forgot about the test again, can you? Didn't I remind you just this morning? Now that you mention it, I vaguely remember some sort of talk along those lines at the breakfast table. Sometimes I fear for the future of the Bracer Guild and humanity. Oh well, no sense in worrying about that now. Let's just head over the testing area. You mean like now? I don't know if I'm ready for... How about a little yapping and a little more walking? Oh dear, she's being dragged off by the scruff of the neck. Joshua, help me! Mr. Medleys, Freddy, thank you for all your help. Don't mention it, and good luck with that test of yours. We'll be rooting for you. I'm going to remember you left me high and dry like this, Joshua! How often can you be dragged out of earshot? All your training has finally come down to this. Your qualification test will begin here. I expect to see you both use what you've learned up to this point. Understood. What's wrong, Estelle? Shira? What now? I was kind of wondering, but isn't there going to be a paper test or something? Did Cassius drop you on your head as a child or something? You just read what it said on the bulletin board not that long ago, right? Yep, and? And I even made you jot down what you read in your Bracer notebooks. Unless you forgot that too. I'm pretty sure the job listing mentioned searching for and retrieving an item in the sewers. Ringing any bells yet? What a relief. O divine Idios, I give thanks to thee for thy infinite grace in bestowing upon us such a wonderful gifts as sewers. So what you're saying is you thought it was a paper test? No wonder you were acting all crazy back at the Orbital Factory. I can already feel the nostalgia. All those horrible days stuck in a classroom are starting to feel like grand memories instead. You're gonna get pushed down if you keep stalling like this. I'm really starting to wonder if we'll even be able to graduate at all. What's wrong with you? Why'd you have to go and say something like that when I'm trying to reminisce about positive things? Like breakfast. That's enough jabbering, you two. This is supposed to be a test, so how about the two of you try to at least look a little anxious? Just so you know though, if you do happen to flunk the test, you don't even want to imagine the kind of homework I have in store for the both of you. We'll be fine. Just tell us what you want us to do and let us loose. Well, if you're so confident, then how about proving you're not just blowing hot air with the results of your test? Anyway, as you saw on the bulletin board, this test will be a search conducted in Roland's sewers. Your objective is to retrieve the contents of a chest which has been placed somewhere within that area. The layout of the sewers is extremely simple, so you don't need to worry about getting lost either. However, there are real living, breathing monsters down there, so if you get careless and let your guard down, you will be sorry. Also, let me give you this before I forget. I think that's a healing item. And a monster guide. What's this book for? It's called a monster guide. It's used to record information about monsters and other opponents you meet. Whenever you figure out an enemy's attributes, you should make an immediate note of it in there. Sounds pretty straightforward to me. He controls the flow of information, controls the tide of battle, right? That's exactly what I'm saying. You've got a really good head on your shoulders, Joshua. That's some pretty useful advice. Thanks for the tip, Shira. We'll put it to good use. Alrighty then, let's get pumped and knock out this test. Let's. Don't forget though, this is an exam. We should treat it as such. In the next episode, because boy, this drug on for quite some time. But yeah, that's something we'll get up to next episode. Until then guys, take care. I'll see you all around. Man, JRPGs, they spend so much time on their introductions. I don't think even crosscode will. I'm nattering, aren't I?